Most of the ideas to solve the temporary issues with affordability are not workable, but I have a better idea. Every single day, millions of hardworking citizens wake up, get in their cars, and drive to work. They drive to build a better life for their families, to drop their kids off at school, to deliver goods, and to keep our local economy moving forward. But lately, that fundamental American ritual, the morning commute, has been paired with a growing sense of anxiety. Every time a driver pulls up to the pump, they watch the numbers roll up on the meter with a heavy heart. High gas prices are not just an inconvenience, they are a regressive anchor on the household budget. They act as a direct penalty on the working class, on independent contractors, and on everyday families who do not have the luxury of working from home. When fuel costs take up an ever larger share of a paycheck, families are forced to make impossible choices. Do they cut back on groceries? Do they delay a doctor's visit? This is the reality of the strain our people are under. It is time for us to step up and provide immediate, meaningful relief where our citizens feel it most. Today, I am calling for a substantial, targeted reduction in the gas tax to put hard-earned dollars directly back into the pockets of the people who earned them. Now, any responsible leader knows that a speech calling for a tax cut is only half a proposal. We cannot simply look at the ledger, slash revenue, and walk away. Our roads, bridges, and infrastructure rely on stable funding to remain safe and efficient. If we cut the gas tax without a plan, we risk degrading the very transportation network our drivers depend on. So, the critical question we must answer today is clear. How do we pay for it? How do we deliver financial relief to working families without creating a deficit or compromising our infrastructure? The answer lies in making a deliberate, strategic choice about what we want to incentivize in our society. I propose that we fully offset this gas tax reduction with a targeted increase in the tax on cigarettes and tobacco products. This is a structural shift that makes sense on every level, economically, socially, and morally. Let us look at the fundamental difference between these two commodities. Gasoline is an absolute necessity. In our current infrastructure, driving is not an optional luxury, it is a requirement for survival and employment. People must drive to live. Smoking, on the other hand, is a choice, and a dangerous one at that. Cigarettes are a harmful consumer product that yields no economic productivity, and instead places a massive, compounding burden on our society. By shifting a portion of the tax burden away from fuel and onto tobacco, we are aligning our fiscal policy with common sense values. We are lowering the cost of an essential good by increasing the cost of a non-essential, hazardous one. Furthermore, the economic impact of tobacco goes far beyond the price of a pack. Millions of dollars are drained from our public healthcare systems every year to treat preventable, smoking-related illnesses. When we raise the cigarette tax, we aren't just funding a gas tax cut, we are capturing revenue from a product that actively creates a public deficit, and using it to support the everyday commuter. But the benefits of this proposal extend far beyond the state balance sheet. This is a policy that achieves a double victory for our communities. Decades of public health data have proven one undeniable truth. When the cost of tobacco goes up, smoking rates go down. A higher cigarette tax is one of the single most effective tools we have to encourage current smokers to quit, and more importantly, to prevent the next generation, our teenagers and young people, from ever picking up the habit in the first place. Think about what we can accomplish with this single framework. On one hand, we ease the financial anxiety of the truck driver, the nurse, the teacher, and the small business owner every single time they fill up their tank. On the other hand, we take a bold, aggressive step toward improving public health, reducing chronic disease, and saving lives. We are choosing to tax a vice to relieve a necessity. We are choosing to disincentivize harm to make it easier for people to go to work and thrive. My friends, leadership is about making choices that reflect the needs of the people. Right now, our people need breathing room. They need to know that their government understands the pressures of the modern household budget. Let's stop making it so expensive for hardworking citizens to simply get to work. Let's pass this gas tax reduction, let's fund it responsibly through a tobacco tax increase, and let's build a future that is both more affordable and healthier for everyone.
The idea that a politician, especially a Democrat, is going to suspend or lower any tax is wishful thinking at best. And many Republican-led areas already have low to no gas taxes in place. So the natural reaction to avoid the energy-related inflation is not going to be in regards to the gas tax without some sort of offsetting trade-off. Providing economic relief while protecting our nation's health is something that should be appealing to America's left-of-center party. Well, far left of center party. because the identity of those that they prey on are individuals who view smoking in a manner that connects with their cultural identity. As we already saw, they value a vote more than a person. Consider the amount of money spent on the ills caused by smoking in all its forms. There are no benefits of smoking. How much money is spent on addressing respiratory illness, all forms of cancer, and a host of other illnesses. Money that could be spent on education improvements, healthcare innovation, and public safety. Like the first episode of Mad Men, smoking is intertwined with our nation's history. Tobacco companies were once corporate giants, providing a comfortable living while shortening the lives of their consumers. But the tide has turned and Americans are waking up to the risk of smoking. To some degree. While smoking cigarettes has declined, the ill has really just shifted to vaping and weed, which some foolishly believe is safer. People do not always make rational decisions. Maybe increasing the cost can further help. Increase the taxes on cigarettes, cannabis products, and accessories and offset the gas tax. Kill two birds with one stone while saving thousands potentially. All the while, everyday Americans could experience some relief from the reduction in the gas tax, while potentially enjoying some relief from secondhand smoke, littering related to smoking, and the lack of annoyance of the smoker's cough. Smoking is really an illness in our society, but it has become part of some groups' culture. I like the economics of the idea because there is a clear benefit. But, the social solution will not happen. Smoking is baked into our society. First, they blamed big tobacco. If Philip Morris and others were punished and had to label products, then that would end smoking. It did not. States sued cigarette makers every chance they got, but smoking is still prevalent. Culture does play a part as smoking is traditional for so many people. Too many people grew up in households where parents smoked at the dinner table. Or their parents, grandparents, and key family members smoked outside. The deadly pattern was carried on to the next generation. People hold irrational views and those dangerous views are reinforced by societal approaches to separate responsibility away from the person with the choices they make. Smoking is not their fault. Therefore someone else should bear the responsibility and the cost. Look at the number of people who call for legalization of drugs and expect society to then foot the bill for their rehab. I do think we need to do things that make doing bad more economically unpleasant and discourage people. There is some data that points to reduction in smoking as a result of the tax increases and social messaging. But much of that is simply a transition to vaping or weed, both of which are still harmful. Allowing carcinogens to enter your body is not healthy at all. For the lower income people, smoking foolishly is used to appease their feelings and inability to progress upward. For educated people, smoking may be done to look the part, but many understand the impact of nicotine and avoid it. But in favor of other vices. But, if we can save money on gas, it does not hurt to add more of an incentive to avoid smoking. Let's not pretend that smoking is not annoying when done in front of entrances of buildings. The less smoking the better our society and collective health will be.